What if everything you've ever been told about human origins isn't just incomplete, but fundamentally wrong? What if buried within ancient texts lies compelling evidence of beings so extraordinary, so otherworldly, that mainstream academia has gone to great lengths to deny, dismiss, or suppress their existence altogether? Today, we're diving deep into one of the most provocative and hotly debated subjects in biblical archaeology and ancient history: the mysterious, towering entities known as the Nephilim. I'm about to share discoveries that will challenge everything you thought you knew about our ancestors. We're talking about biblical giants, forbidden knowledge, and evidence that suggests our past is far more mysterious than anyone wants to admit. But before we go down this rabbit hole, I need to warn you, what you're about to learn has been deliberately hidden from public view for centuries. The story begins in the Book of Genesis, where we encounter one of the most enigmatic passages in all of ancient literature. The text speaks of the sons of God who came down to earth and took wives from among the daughters of men. Their children were called the Nephilim, described as mighty men of old, men of renown. But here's where things get interesting. The Hebrew word Nephilim doesn't just mean giants. It literally translates to the fallen ones, or those who came down. Now, mainstream religious interpretation has always tried to sanitize this narrative. They'll tell you these were simply the descendants of Seth mixing with the descendants of Cain. But this explanation falls apart when you examine the original Hebrew text and compare it with other ancient sources from the same period. The language used is far too specific and dramatic for such a mundane interpretation. Archaeological evidence is where this story becomes absolutely fascinating. Around the world, we find megalithic structures that defy conventional explanation. We're talking about precisely cut stone blocks weighing hundreds of tons, moved with a level of engineering sophistication that we struggle to replicate today. From Baalbek in Lebanon to Pumapunku in Bolivia, these sites share remarkably similar construction techniques despite being separated by thousands of miles and supposedly built by cultures with no contact. But the evidence doesn't stop at architecture. Ancient skeletal remains of unusually large humans have been discovered on every continent. The Smithsonian Institution has documented findings of 7 to 12-foot tall skeletons across North America alone. Yet mysteriously, many of these discoveries seem to vanish from public record shortly after being reported. Why would institutions actively suppress evidence of our own history? The plot thickens when we examine ancient texts from cultures completely separate from Hebrew tradition. The Book of Enoch, which was considered canonical scripture by early Christians, provides detailed accounts of the Watchers, angelic beings who descended to earth and shared forbidden knowledge with humanity. These beings taught humans metallurgy, astronomy, warfare, and cosmetics. Sound familiar? These are the same domains where human civilization mysteriously accelerated around 10,000 years ago. Sumerian tablets tell remarkably similar stories through the Anunnaki narratives. Hindu texts describe the Deva and Asura. Greek mythology speaks of the Titans. Native American traditions across dozens of tribes independently describe star people who came from the sky. The consistency of these accounts across isolated cultures suggests we're dealing with more than mere mythology. Here's where modern science adds another layer of mystery. Genetic research has revealed that human DNA contains sequences that appear to have been artificially inserted. The human genome shows signs of what scientists call fusion events, chromosomes that appear to have been deliberately combined in ways that don't occur naturally in primate evolution. Our second chromosome shows clear evidence of being formed from 2 separate chromosomes that were somehow fused together. The implications are staggering. If the Nephilim accounts are historical rather than mythological, we're looking at evidence of genetic intervention in human development. This would explain the sudden leap in human cognitive ability that occurred roughly 50,000 years ago, what scientists call the Great Leap Forward in human consciousness. But let's address the elephant in the room. Why would this information be suppressed? The answer lies in understanding how such revelations would fundamentally challenge existing power structures. Religious institutions would face questions about the nature of divinity and human spirituality. Scientific establishments would need to revise their entire understanding of human evolution. Political systems built on certain assumptions about human nature and origins would face scrutiny. The cover-up isn't necessarily coordinated or malicious. It's often simply the result of institutional inertia and the human tendency to reject information that challenges established worldviews. When evidence doesn't fit the accepted paradigm, it's easier to dismiss or ignore it than to restructure everything we think we know. Recent discoveries continue to support the Nephilim hypothesis. Underground chambers beneath major archaeological sites often contain artifacts that don't align with conventional dating methods. Advanced metallurgical techniques appear in archaeological layers that predate their supposed invention by thousands of years. Stone carvings depict beings with clearly non-human characteristics, alongside obviously human figures. The truth about the Nephilim may fundamentally alter our understanding of human purpose and potential. If we are indeed the descendants of both terrestrial and non-terrestrial ancestors, what does that mean for our spiritual evolution? What capabilities might we possess that we've forgotten or been conditioned to ignore? The evidence suggests that ancient humanity possessed knowledge and abilities that we're only beginning to rediscover. Perhaps the Nephilim weren't invaders or corruptors, but teachers and guides who helped elevate human consciousness to new levels. Maybe the real forbidden knowledge isn't what they taught us, but the truth about who we really are and what we're capable of becoming. The choice is yours. You can accept the sanitized version of human history, or you can explore the evidence and draw your own conclusions about our mysterious origins.